Um, okay, Graham, what would you change?
Can I go last in the round robin?
Yes, you may.
I'll go.
Yeah, go ahead. That's Amy?
I would change a couple things. I would change some of the instructions to make them a little bit clearer to people when this is an online course and we don't have access to the professor 100% of the time. I think instructions need to be very, very clear. The only other thing I would probably change is it was a stretch for me to find some of the educational meaning, use, etc. for some of these games and some of these things. So I would have education aspect, that addicts, but maybe add puzzle game is familiar with.
I see. Some of the less complex games that that people already know the rules to, so you don't have to learn rules. The rules, like how can you change this for your class?
That's great. I would agree with that point too, because the tutorials were really long.
Right.
Some of them. It's not a very long class to learn different games.
The games are very time consuming.
Okay, and
first of all, I felt that there was some redundancy in the assignments. That, for example, the first time we were in SPORE, and maybe this was something that wasn't a written assignment, and maybe this was a lack of clarity, but Dr. Siegel said to me, make a SPORE video. I made a SPORE video, and then the assignment this week was to make a SPORE video. So I had to ask myself, well, why would I make 2 SPORE videos? So I think that would be one piece that I would just really look at the clarity of the assignments and make sure that that the lines of communication are clear, which is another way of saying what was just said a moment ago. And the other thing I would say very strongly, and maybe Graham would agree with me, training was really underrepresented here. Yes, I know that there was a book about assimilation in training, but in terms of, really seeing how these games would be used for those individuals who are not classroom teachers, maybe even for classroom teachers, I'm not sure, it was a stretch. So certainly more could be said and done in the area of training.
Hello?
I teach in a digital lab, and the kids turn in their assignments digitally, not a website, but just, like in my digital Dropbox, like a server, and I'm very strict about file names. Because if they name it something else, I can't figure out whose is whose, and it's a real pain in the butt. So I am actually very strict on file names myself, but my suggestion is it becomes such an issue sometimes because people get an F, or for an assignment if their file isn't named correctly, and and I totally understand how someone might get to that point because you've been saying for the year and a half you've been teaching, I really want everyone to name file names like this, and nobody does it, and they're surprised when you're like, no, I actually want file names to be named like this. So my suggestion is what I do in my classroom, and this can't quite be done on is I have, when the kids turn in their first assignment, at least a fourth of them, half of them, don't name it right, and I put it up on the projector, and I delete and I throw away their assignment that they just turned in, and everybody goes, it's I'm like, remember, you still have a copy, it's digital, that I haven't ripped a painting, and they go, oh yeah, or I have them come up to my computer and have them rename it there. So basically I don't accept it until it's named right. So I'm not really taking off the grade, it's like a ticket to grading. You don't get a grade until you name the file correctly. So that's one approach. And if it's really important to him, to get an F because you named an assignment wrong kind of implicates that that's the most important part of the assignment, when in fact that's not. I'm sure the teacher or the students would think that's the most important part, but yet it still matters. I think the very first assignment in the course should be a 1 point, worth 1% of your grade, and it's a blank document. and you save the blank document, you title it correctly, and you submit it. And that way, because our attention is divided on our first assignment, we're trying to get, it's like a 12, 5, 7-point assignment, and we're like freaking out about the content. So we forget about the least important thing to us, which is the file name. If the first assignment is 1 point, it's worth almost nothing, but yet the only your attention is divided. So you're not worried about the content of the assignment, you're just naming the file and submitted it. If you get an F, you could still get 99% of the points. Do you know what I'm saying? You guys, hello?
Interesting
Yeah.
point.